I think that that folks should have a clear head on issues, and I think that folks should be sensitive when we speak about, like, for instance, criminals, because a lot of comments, can be made, and you can actually put somebody in a bubble. Because if you listen to what I'm hearing tonight, you could almost assume that everybody homeless is a criminal. With some of the comments that were made, and I want to say that because we're dealing with human beings with with different set of circumstances than a lot of us have, because that's why certain people speak on those type of issues. Because for one, you're not homeless, and so there's a perception that can be repeated a couple of times, and folks will start to think that, well, this particular project is housing criminals, right? No, it's a homeless issue, right? And I just wanted to say that because a lot of times some things can get misconstrued and put out there, and when we're talking about this particular type of project, we're talking about homeless folks. And the reality is it could be any of us, right? So I just wanted to say that because a lot of times when things, are said, I personally don't like to hear some of the stuff that I hear. We have to treat everybody like humans. And they're in certain types of situations based on life challenges or whatever the case, right? Whatever they didn't have or whatever, didn't work out or whatever. For that, homelessness also it doesn't have to be like a permanent thing, right? Folks can get back on their feet, right? With the right help, with support, love, or sometimes just encouragement. Hey, you can do this, or whatever the case. You may run across folks today that you don't even know are homeless or not. You don't know when you're talking to somebody if they're homeless unless they're your neighbor or so. But if you interact with different folks, you don't know people's certain circumstances. So I just wanted to say that because we're talking about more or less zoning and this type of thing. And I like to stick to the basics, even though I'm kind of out there right now. I like to stick to what we're talking about. And I know that that any project, right, you can build a neighborhood. So you're telling me that a millionaire in $1 million neighborhood is not a criminal? Right? Like, I don't hear that I don't hear those type of comments when we're talking about developments. If we're building, I don't care what the project is, if we're building 200 apartments, or if we're building 500 townhomes, or if we're building estate properties in Fredericksburg, I never hear comments about criminals. So, or that aspect. So I just want to say that because there are folks out here who are dealing with real situations, right? And some things come to council, and a lot of stuff is not expressed along with, that type of whatever project it is. So I just wanted to say that. That's all I have, Mayor Devine. I'm sorry for getting off key, but, I sometimes I like to stick to the basics, but we have to respect people, whatever the case, If you watch a guy help an old lady across the street, do you ask him, is he a criminal, or you say, thank you for helping the lady across the street? Like, trying to make sense out of some of these comments that are made.
The people who are moving into these homes will already be receiving services from Micah. So it's not like they're going from the street or a tent straight here. They will be receiving Micah services before they end up in these homes, yes?
Yes, and that is, I think, one of the unique things about this community is that we're not just housing unknown people who are homeless. Right. We're housing people that we know by name and know their story and sometimes know their mama. But they're not only already receiving services, but one of the beautiful things we've been able to do with Hesed House is move them first into Hesed House, figure out what problems we're going to have, and then move them into housing and have a more successful transition because of that.
And your success rate with Hesed House, you had said, I believe at a work session, about 80%?
About 80% have moved in the first year, have moved successfully into permanent housing.
Mm-hmm. I just wanted to say that I'm very excited about this project.
I think this is an incredible project with incredible potential to show Fredericksburg's leadership and compassion, and it's something that I'm incredibly proud to be a part of.